We have a great segment we're about to get into. We announced it last week. We're about to invite two gentlemen to come up on stage here, and we're going to be running a NCAA basketball Final Four competition, or March Madness. I'm not 100% sure what they even call it these days, but we're going to find out the details.
Craziness.
So, First Down Sports is very happy to welcome back to the show Dave Tingley and Scott Chisholm, who has appeared on the show.
Cheers, cheers. Cheers, yeah. Always like some good. Cheers, cheers.
Have
Thanks,
a seat, boys.
Happy to be back.
Welcome to First Down Sports. So, before we get started, when we talk about this tournament, what do they call it these days? Final Four, March Madness, combination? What is it called?
Capital T, capital M, the madness. That's all I call it.
The Madness.
Yep.
March Madness, I would say.
March
Yep.
Madness?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay, so what I had you guys do, I had you guys fill out your brackets, and for the first time in my life, I actually filled out a bracket.
Oh no.
So I'm going to go over some of those picks with you guys as we get going. The first question I have for you when I look at these brackets is, I see there's four major divisions. There's the East, West, Midwest, and the South. Now, the teams that are in these divisions, are they in these same divisions year after year, or do they get mixed up based on records and stuff?
Well, they have a committee every year that picks. So there's 34 at-large teams, I think, every year.
Okay.
And now there's 34 conference winners.
Yes.
Yeah. So what they do is, it used to be 30 at-large teams, but they expanded a couple years ago to 68 teams. So they got the two play-in games.
Okay.
4 play-in games every year. So what they do is they slot it by number one seeds. So they just slot it by lines, 1, 2, and they've got a lot of rules where conference guys that play in conference during the regular season, they can't meet until until a certain period of time in the tournament, until the Sweet 16 or whatever. Right? So they have to slot them in areas. So it ends up, you could be, as a North Carolina is playing in the South region, they could have been the number 3 seed in the Midwest last year.
Okay, right.
It just moves all around depending on where they have to seed them. That way.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds
It's
great.
very flexible.
Very flexible.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so when you look at the seedings then, I mean, when you look at the number one seedings, what do you guys feel about those number one seedings? Are there any, because they go through that kind of format, are there seedings in here that you guys disagree with where they're seeded for this tournament?
There's always arguments about teams ranked too low or too high. The big one this week was North Carolina was rated as a number one seed in the South.
Yeah.
But they lost in their conference tournament to Duke, and there was a lot of momentum that Duke had winning the ACC.
Right.
That they figured they should have been a number one seed. But the committee that invites everybody and seeds them said that Duke had some bad losses back. They had some injuries in December and January. So those losses back at Christmas time brought them too low to make it back up to number one.
Right.
But there is a lot of that North Carolina Duke in the South is a big.
And that makes a difference too, because they talk all about the great thing about March Madness is the upsets. That's what everybody loves, the buzzer beaters and the upsets. A 15 seed beating a 2 seed, that's happened. Okay, so if you're a 2 seed, those 16 seeds, okay, that come in, so the ones play the 16s. Those 16, that's never happened. The 16's never beaten a 1.
Never happened.
Never happened. And those are usually the teams that have losing records, but surprisingly win their conference tournament, right? So they come into the tournament 11-22 for the year,
Right.
playing a team that's 30-4. You know what I mean?
Just
and
not gonna happen.
And it's a lambs to the slaughter. It's, if it ever happened, it might happen, but who knows when. 15's beating a 2. That's happened.
Yeah,
so that makes a difference.
The 15s being the 2, just so everybody knows, since the tournament expanded to 64 teams,
Yeah.
the record is 113 versus 7. There's been 7 times that a 15 seed has beaten a 2 seed,
Including last year.
including last year. So it doesn't happen very often, but that's the 16 never beats 1, but when a 15 beats a 2, it's a big deal.
It's happened to Duke. Duke's lost as a 2 seed before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So is it kind of like go into football just for a second, the NC, like all the bowl games.
Yeah.
There was always lots of criticism over who was playing in the national game, who was playing. Is it because of these committees, similar type committees that are?
There's that, and they try and get a good cross-reference of all athletic directors and former players and coaches on the committee. There's about 12 people on the committee.
Okay.
And there's 32 teams that get an automatic invitation because they've won their league or they've won their tournament.
Right.
And then there's 32 teams that get invited. And every year there's 4 or 5 teams that say we should have got in, and then there's 4 or 5 teams that people say shouldn't have got in.
And this year's pretty cut and dry though. There's no arguments there.
No.
Like even the teams that are the number, like they have the NCAA and then they have the NIT, the National Invitation Tournament, which used to be the biggest tournament back in the 50s, 40s and 50s.
Right.
That used to be the tournament, and then the NCAA tournament took over. But they still have that NIT, which is pretty prestigious because you still gotta be pretty good to get into the NIT.
Yeah. Right.
But the number 1 seeds in the NIT
Are not
one of them Syracuse.
Only,
the big one was Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Syracuse every year because they're a big name.
Syracuse is a big name, and this year they beat 3 top 50 teams.
Right.
So they had 3 good wins, but they had 8 terrible losses.
They were 2-11 away from the Carrier Dome.
Yeah.
Their home. They were 2-11 away
On
from
the
home.
road.
They only
road,
won
yeah.
2 games on the road, so people want to say they had those 3 big wins.
They're all
But when
home.
the committee talks about a body of work, so they want to look at your whole season. You just can't look at your 3 Sports Center big wins of the year.
Plus
Right.
they go by metrics too. The 2 big metrics they go by, they call it RPI, Ratings Percentage Index, and Ken Palm. This Ken Pomeroy, this guy that's put together kind of like Bill James in baseball.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
Ken Pomeroy is that for basketball. He's put together this Ken Palm Index.
Right.
And there's teams that are ranked, and they go by that. They go by top 20 wins. You mentioned top 50 wins, top 25 wins, top 50 wins,
Yeah.
RPI, and Ken Palm, and that's how they look at them.
They go in depth. They don't
It's
just
really
throw a
in
bunch
depth,
of
yeah.
pieces of paper into a hat and say we're going to put.
So it's not a political thing that's going on.
I
at
don't
this
think
table.
so because there's too many people involved.
Yeah.
Too many people. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They do a pretty good job. The seedings, I think this year, you could quibble, like there's some weird ones, like Minnesota is a 5 seed out of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They had the same, Wisconsin is an 8 seed. Wisconsin beat Minnesota twice,
Yeah.
had more conference wins in the same conference,
Yeah.
and got a win further in the conference tournament.
Okay.
But they're an 8 seed, and Minnesota's a 5. It's weird. You
See,
kind of go,
There's
eh.
I got one too. Like SMU is at 30 and 4.
Right.
The top rated defensive team in the league. In the country. They have 2 players on their roster that are going to be in the NBA.
Right.
And they're a 6 seed. Now they're devalued because they play in a weaker conference, but they're definitely a 3 seed in my
Nobody
mind.
wants to play them.
Nobody wants to play them. Coaches this week have said because they're like an NBA bodies. They're
a weird team because they only play basically 6 guys.
yeah.
And their starting lineup, 1 through 5, is between 6'6" and 6'9".
Right.
There's no center, there's no point guard.
No.
They're all interchangeable, and they all shoot threes, and they all can handle the ball. They all can play defense. They all can rebound.
Playground.
And
So
it's
what-
like, it's like
watch
how do
it.
you play against them?
And
There's
so,
no style to it.
so they are definitely in the tournament, but as a 6 seed, they have to play Duke in the second round, I think.
Right.
Which is going to be that
third
everybody.
round in the third,
Okay.
Sweet 16.
Yeah. So everybody's sort of looking at Duke going all the way or coming close. Watch SMU. That could be a really. SMU doesn't have a basketball history, but this team has really come to play.
Okay.
There'll be some money flying around that in Vegas.
Well, as you guys know, we're going to be having a little competition between you two. So what are you playing for? Well, you're going to be playing for some Moose Light.
I like it.
Sweet.
Okay, you're
Moose
playing
Light,
for some
perfect.
Moose Light. And we also are going to put a package together for you from Dunn's Right Buffalo Sauce.
All right.
They're going to
Hello.
kick in, so you'll be learning more about Dunn's Right Buffalo Sauce as we go. But those are the 2 things you're playing for in this competition. Okay.
And a special massage package.
Now, what-
Wink, wink.
What I'm thinking about doing
Can I
is
tank?
I'm going to give you a point for each game you get correct in the first round,
Yeah.
2 points, second round,
That's
3
how most
points,
of- most of
and that's
work.
how I'm
That's
gonna-
pretty good.
Is that how it works?
Any bonus points
Be
for
good.
upsets?
Yeah. See,
Well, Before you guys leave here tonight, I'm gonna get you to tell me
Mine are all upsets.
who you think your most potential upset is, and I'll give you bonus points for that.
I have a big upset, but I didn't put it on my bracket, so.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
That's it.
Because I got a big one here, but I didn't write it down.
Yeah. I tell you what, for your potential upset, it doesn't have to be in your bracket.
Okay.
I just want a good
All right.
potential upset.
All right.
Okay.
I got one here.
I got
So-
hundreds.
Let me just talk about your brackets here real quick. When I look at your West Division,
Yep.
you guys have got a few different there. When it comes to the East and West finals, you guys both have Duke and Arizona going into the final.
Yeah.
Okay. Scotty's got Arizona representing in the final, and Dave, you've got Duke representing in the final. Okay?
Yeah, and that's painful. That's painful as a Carolina supporter, but I gotta do it
Yeah.
because they're too hot.
Okay.
And they got too much talent.
On the other side of the brackets, you both have Kansas going to the finals. And then there's a little bit of difference here. You've got North Carolina representing, and Scotty's got UCLA representing going into that final game. So how about talk about your picks here a little bit. Was there any tough picks that you guys had making in that first round in your bracket?
Well, in the first round, yeah, because this year this could go. I don't know about you, but
There's tons of upsets potentially.
I do this every year. I've done this I ran a pool back in university 25 years ago. I've been doing this for a long time. This is the first year where it wouldn't surprise me if a 5 seed, a 4 seed, a 7 seed, and an 8 seed made the Final Four, and it wouldn't surprise me if all 4 ones made the Final Four. Like it's way it's crazy. So the Midwest and the South, where Kansas and North Carolina are, those ones threw me because Kansas, I love Kansas. Like they got Josh Jackson, and they got Graham at point guard. They got 3 great guards. Josh Jackson, who's going to go probably top 5 in the draft. He's been probably the best player in the country for a month. He's insane.
And they got the senior Mason.
So
too.
athletic. Mason. Yeah, Devontae Graham's the other guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's probably going to be the national player of the year.
Yeah.
Frank Mason, the third from. He just doesn't lose. He just doesn't let you lose. He's
Right.
one of these guys.
And,
just a
and
bulldog.
Kansas has changed their style. Now they're playing 4 guards.
Yeah.
So Kansas always, in the past, went bigger and then a little small. But they've sort of adapted a style now where they're going 4 guards and they're going small and shooting a ton of threes.
Which troubles me because they don't play as good defensively.
No.
Like normally they're ranked in the top 10 defensively in the country, and they're outside the top 40, I think, and only one team outside the top 40 defensively rankings has won in the last 20 years or something. So there's that stat, right? So they worry me, but I don't know who else to pick there.
No.
I got Rhode Island going all the way to Rhode Island's actually a really somebody I love. They were ranked in the top 20 at the start of the year, and then were injured. And had a bunch of losses.
And they got
then
they have one of the Hurley brothers as their coach.
Yeah, which as a Duke hater, it troubles me. But yeah, they've been playing unbelievable, and they got everybody back, and they've just got 6 seniors, and the things that matter in March for this tournament are guard play and experience. And Kansas has that, but so does Rhode Island. I almost picked them for the Final Four. I just couldn't do it. Rhode Island in the Final Four.
Yeah, I think that's to be a great game. That Rhode Island-Oregon game, that could be that.
Yeah, you like Oregon more than me.
Yeah, but that game could be like one of the best in the tournament.
Oregon's got 3. They had 3 Canadians.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we lost one. Chris Boucher tore his ACL. Who's a unicorn. A Canadian dude who's 6'11" or 6'10".
6'11". Wow.
Yeah, one of the best shot blockers in the country, and a 45% three-point shooter. Just one of these guys that's just perfect for the NBA. He'll go in the first round, guaranteed. Even with it, I mean, he's a crazy athlete. Tore his ACL, but they've got Dylan Brooks, Pac-10 Player of the Year from Canada, and Ennis out of the backcourt. So they had 3 Canadian starters in Oregon.
Just one quick thing, we're talking about Canada. I just took some notes today, and there's 24 Canadians in the tournament this year.
Wow.
We were talking before the show, 10 years ago there was only 3.
Yeah.
So basketball is really there's a lot more recruiting going on in Canada, especially in Ontario. New Mexico State has 2 Canadian coaches, and they have 4 Canadians on New Mexico State.
Wow.
Oregon has 3.
Here.
So
Yeah.
basketball is really elevating in Canada.
Iowa State, who just won
Yeah.
the Big 12, they got a couple Canadians that play
Yeah.
significant minutes, a couple starters. So, and also just as a side note there, one of the big recruits this year coming in next year to the NCAA is Lindell Wigington, who's from Dartmouth and playing prep in Florida and
Wow.
being recruited
And
by
he's going to be
Calipari's trying to get him to
in
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
So and Rowan Baird Jr.,
Yeah.
who's Rowan Baird, I don't know if
Team Canada.
yeah, Team Canada guy with Steve Nash, going
Yeah.
way back, qualified
His
for the
son.
Olympics, he played in the Olympics last time they were there. His son is the best player, and he was an All-American as a sophomore this year in high school in the States,
Wow.
and he's the only sophomore All-American, so he's the best player in that class.
Wow.
Which is
Great
nice.
So that's great for Canada.
Canadian. It's really we're
Yeah.
on a good trend, and we're starting to get more recognized. And there's a lot more scouts coming to Canada to watch kids to high school. So.
Great. Just to jump over, because I saw on television this weekend the Canadian University basketball championships were this weekend.
Yes.
How many of those players will go on to play like NBL or other type of
Oh,
semi-pro league?
NBL, the
lot.
Miracles level, a lot of them. Yeah.
A lot of
And a
them.
lot of them
Yeah.
will go to Europe too.
A lot of them
Some
go to
of them
Europe.
go to Europe. So
Yeah.
it's not just a university and that's it.
Okay.
You know, there's 8 teams in the there's 100 kids in the finals,
Right.
and probably 10 to 20 of them will go pro.
Yeah.
Okay.
And shout out to Carlton, 7 championships in a row
Yeah.
out of
Crazy.
Carlton, just insane.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. 7 in a row. I saw that on TSN too.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about upsets. So who do you guys have as your major upsets heading into this tournament?
Well, for me, it's not a huge upset, but UCLA is a 3 seed, and I just like the way they're playing this year. They have a kid on their team who's a bit controversial in his family, but his name's Lonzo Ball. He's got 2 other brothers that play basketball as well.
Okay.
Both his parents are college basketball players, and I would say he's one of the biggest names in basketball since LeBron James turned pro.
Wow.
He's a guard, 6'6", shoots well, rebounds, passes. He's an all-around player, and he just got something about him. I don't know what
It's
it
kind
is.
of a cross between Jason Kidd and Magic
Yeah.
Johnson, to be honest with you. He's got the height of Magic at point guard.
Yeah,
The shot,
it's a weird looking
the
shot.
shot is a weird shot. He might not be able to get it off as well in the pros,
Yeah.
but he's
There's
such
something
a
about him.
good ball handler
Yeah.
and such a good passer and
Mm.
such a good defender.
Yeah, he
There's
just
no way he's not going to be good.
You know, in any sport, those players that just make everybody better.
Yeah.
He just makes everybody better. He doesn't have to work hard at it. He's just so smart and so athletic, and he's gifted, and he's fun to watch. So I kind of put UCLA there, not because
They're a 3 seed though. That is
Yeah.
a killer. That's the other region. That's a killer region.
for that
Carolina, Kentucky, UCLA. That's 25.
Yeah,
25 championships, 25 national championships.
Wow.
Those 3 teams.
that UCLA has to beat Kentucky,
Yeah.
then they have to beat North Carolina to go. So those games in the South,
to earn a spot against Kansas
Yeah.
to go to the final against Duke. I mean,
Right.
potentially.
like it's a long road for UCLA, but I hope Ball gets 2 or 3 games because he's got a lot of recognition, but he's just got something special about him. That's why I put him.
And they could absolutely do it. That's the one region where we really disagree. I mean, they could absolutely do that. There's no doubt in my mind they could win the whole thing. But my thing with them is they're young, and their defense is, like, they give up 90
No.
points on
Yeah.
the regular, and those guys, you got to be able to lock down. Now, they've been doing a lot better job recently,
Yes.
so it's possible, but I can't see them outrunning North Carolina. North Carolina's bigger than they are, too.
And they're deeper, yeah.
Yeah, but I've got actually Kentucky losing. My upset in that region is Wichita State. We were talking about before the podcast started. Wichita State gets no respect. In the middle of nowhere in Kansas, Greg Marshall gets team after team after team after team to 30, 29, 28 wins, a championship in the Missouri Valley, and then a terrible seeding in the tournament. And the one time they did get a number 1 seed, a couple of years ago they were undefeated going into the tournament.
Right.
And they were a number 1 seed, and in that year they were matched against Kentucky, was seeded way too low at 8, and they had to play them in the second round and lost in double overtime, and Kentucky went to the final. And So they get hosed every year.
Yeah,
And they're-
Wichita State's 30-4. They're a 10 seed because they play in the Missouri Valley. It's a weaker conference, so their wins aren't as valuable in the committee's mind.
Right.
But
I
their 4
heard-
losses are all to the top 50
Yes.
rankings.
And I listened to their coach last night on when I was driving last night on a sports show, and they're so upset about this ranking
Yeah.
that they're like, and they're a tough team to begin with.
Yeah.
So they have a chip on their shoulder. Like that Wichita State Kentucky game, that definitely could be an upset.
But that region's nuts. Butler's the 4 seed. Butler's been to the final twice recently. I mean, and Middle Tennessee State, who is like everybody's darling. Now they've got to beat. Now they got Butler in the second round. Carolina, like that was a team that people would have picked at the Elite 8, Sweet 16, but they're in this just ridiculous region. It's crazy, that region.
Wow. So, the next thing I want to know from you guys is, I know you've picked your winners, and we'll get to that in a second. You've already mentioned Carolina's your favorite team. Who's your favorite team heading into the tournament? Like, what team would you like to see win, even if you haven't picked them?
It's hard for me because I'm a Syracuse fan. we're not dancing this year. So,
Right.
So for me, it's just I want to see good basketball.
Right.
The tournament is so, it's one and done. It's 40 minutes, and it's, you know, you have an upset team and they're hanging around at halftime and they're down by 2, and then they go into the second half and they go ahead, and the energy in the building is so amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping for good basketball.
And there's always at least 2 games going on. No matter like the games start at 1 p.m. on next Thursday or this Thursday.
Go to midnight.
Go to 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's just 12 hours, and there's always at least 2 games going on, and so they can jump back and forth to this team, to that team, to the end. Here's the end of this game. Here's the end of that. It's amazing, the energy of it. You're right.
Well, what I'm going to do before I even get to your winners, I'm going to talk to you about my picks here real quick. Because again,
Love it.
I am not a
Yeah,
basketball-
now, Ray
I-
called me today after I sent him his picks, and surprisingly he had a couple picks
No,
similar to mine.
I know.
But he said he didn't look at them.
But
Now, did you pick them according to like a Wolverine can kill a Sooner?
Yeah.
Like, did
No,
you do that?
he went by he looked up their cheerleaders, and
Oh, okay.
I had mine picked
Okay.
before Scott's
Is
came
there a
in.
logo of a bill in there somewhere?
Yeah, well, I did look for that.
the
Now-
Bisons.
Now, see, my
Or a
brother,
saber or something?
my brother Chris, he told me he's riding the University of Buffalo right to the finals.
Oh, yeah.
He
Why
says
wouldn't
University
They're
of
not
Buffalo.
Rent the house.
What if the Wildcats play the Wildcats in the final? What are you gonna
Yeah. No, so what I did was I went with names that I recognized.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
do?
So
You you'll probably
of
win.
course
You'll
Duke
probably
came
win.
out. I got Duke coming out of the East against Arizona, and I've got Duke going to the final, which is very similar to a lot of our picks coming out of those brackets.
I was really tempted for Zona. Were you tempted for Zona?
Yeah.
They're good, man.
Yeah.
And Gonzaga I love too, but
They've only got one loss, but they played a weak conference, so
Now,
but they beat Arizona earlier in the year.
without
But was out Alonzo Trier, who's
Yeah.
one of Arizona's best players. They
that,
think it's good.
Gonzaga is going to be good.
Yeah.
well, here's where I'm way off from you
Okay,
guys.
let's
All right,
Okay,
let's
way
go.
off from you guys.
Let's go.
In the Midwest, I got Michigan coming out of the Midwest.
Good job.
Michigan's got a lot of momentum right now,
Yeah.
They just won the Big Ten tournament,
so
but I think the Big Ten was terrible
Yeah.
this year. It was painful. Now they're the one team though because they play at the
Louisville.
fourth highest pace or whatever that KenPom
Yeah.
rating that they do. They play really fast.
Okay.
So they're exciting and they can score. So they could that's not
They're-
terrible.
Like, in my opinion, there's 8 to 10 teams
Okay.
that I would not be surprised if they won. So Michigan's
Well,
a good pick.
I'm a little nervous about this next one because you guys don't even have them coming out of the first game. First round, you guys don't even have. I got Minnesota coming out of the South.
There you go, Ray.
Minnesota. Well, you haven't seen Middle Tennessee State's it's all over.
Yeah.
They're a middle of the road Big Ten
Yeah.
team, and as we were talking about before, Middle Tennessee is like the darling of the upsets.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're gonna put your bracket away.
Minnesota.
We'll take
was
your Bud Light because you're not winning it.
Minnesota was just a gut feel for me. And I had Michigan going to the final. I have Duke winning in the final.
Duke beating Michigan, so
Yeah.
it's like the
Final
Chris
Four.
Webber days all over again.
Yeah.
Duke over Michigan.
That's what I got. I got Duke over Michigan. Now for you guys, okay, when I go to your picks here, as I mentioned for Dave, he's got North Carolina facing Duke.
Yeah.
What do you think he's got, Scotty?
He's got North Carolina.
He's got North Carolina to
Now,
win.
for everybody at home, I'm not a homer. I do not usually pick Carolina. I don't. I actually think this is how it's gonna go.
All right.
Yeah, because they played twice. They played 3 times, and Duke's beat them twice.
Right.
So it's just
They're
it's
even
kind of
it
a
up.
matter. Yeah, what's that?
They're gonna even it up.
And they've never met in the tournament, and it's
No.
been a big deal this year. And the teams have never met 4 times. Like it seems there's a lot of talk. It seems like it's gonna
Might
line
happen.
up. Yeah, it seems like it's gonna
But
line
Dave,
up.
when you announced that you're a Carolina fan,
Yeah,
you didn't specify North or South. So
North.
do you
North.
just say Carolina, like where you got both, just in case?
In basketball, yeah.
In basketball, when you say Carolina, you mean North Carolina.
all right.
I noticed in South Carolina, by the way, is not bad.
No, I just learned something.
South Carolina is not bad.
There
By
you
the
go.
way, they're a decent team. I got them losing the first round, but they're okay.
All right.
They're not.
What are your thoughts on Grayson Allen?
Listen. As a Duke hater, it'd be tempting for me to go. By the way, Grayson Allen is this kid from Duke who's had problems with randomly tripping people in the middle of it. He's
He's a bit of a
and
flopper.
technicals, and he's a flopper, and he's this latest long line, and it's not a racial thing, but it's a fact. It's a white guy at Duke
And they're hated.
that's hated, and it's gone back to Leitner and Hurley, and look at J.J. Redick. I mean, there's
Yeah.
always a guy like this who's got a lot of gel in his hair, looks good in a photograph,
Yeah.
and he just is hated by the fans. Now
And all 4 really
Really good
will
players.
play in the NBA. All those players.
absolutely,
In the NBA.
Allen, but Allen this year with the tripping, and then he's got a couple technicals lately, and
Yeah.
threw an elbow.
Elbow.
But at the same time, there's been more than one occasion I've been on Twitter, and CBS Sports or NBC or something will link to, look what Grayson just did, and it's nothing. It's
No.
a nothing
They're
play.
really picking on him
They're
now.
really picking on him.
So-
I feel bad for the guy, really, in a way. I mean, he's brought it on himself a little bit, but
But Duke is the most loved and hated team in the nation.
both.
Right.
So it's similar to the Montreal Canadiens or in hockey or the New England Patriots in football. You know, it's a love-hate. And what's different today is with social media and every game on TV, you can find anything. If you picked out any player, if you picked on somebody on Kansas, you know what? If you followed him the whole game, he'd be stepping on people's feet. He'd be elbowing people.
Sure.
You know, there's always going to be rough edges around a sport, but the magnifying glass on Grayson, and because he plays for Duke,
Yeah.
and it's multiplied.
It's kind of like Draymond Green in the NBA. Draymond Green's been caught a couple times with, oh, my foot came up and kicked a guy in
in the nuts.
the wrong area.
Yeah.
Whoops. Okay, but you didn't like he's got that sort of spotlight on him now. And now if he's going to do something,
He's going to get caught.
He's going to get caught.
So Scotty has Arizona versus UCLA in the finals. Who do you think he's going to pick to win that game?
I think he's going UCLA.
He is going
All right.
UCLA. Now, when I was doing my
That's
bracket,
a bit of an upset. Like I'm
yeah,
not saying that's the greatest decision, but that's just for me fun. I'm just going to root for UCLA.
well, when I was doing my brackets, I was almost riding them all the ways to the final because I figure in UCLA, like, you know, it's warm weather. They should be playing basketball year round there. So,
But they
you
ran
know,
into the Minnesota Juggernaut.
That's that. When I was doing a lot of my picks, I was looking at the weather and stuff like that. How I ended up with Minnesota and Michigan, I don't know.
Plus,
but-
a gopher kicks the crap out of a Bruin every time. Oh no, wait.
All right, so
Oh, yeah.
that's our picks heading into the tournaments. We're gonna keep score of this. It's between you guys, but I'm the only one that has Duke to win. So if Duke does win, I'll take lunch at Fox and the Hound, or whatever the case may be.
As
We'll
you
figure
can
that
all
out.
tell by me not saying much, I don't watch a lot of college basketball, but listening to you guys tonight, I'm going with SMU to run the table.
I like that. You know
Good
what?
choice.
I don't know where
That's
they're
a fun
located,
team.
but I'm
Good
going
choice.
SMU.
SMU, Southern Methodist University in Texas, big football school back in the 80s and 90s.
Yep. Lost the program down
And
there.
lost their program. I think they're in Dallas. I
Eric
think
Dickerson.
They're just outside of Dallas.
Yep.
But they're fun to watch.
Let's go SMU.
So,
Let's
and
go
by the way,
SMU.
I've got 3 Carolina T-shirts over there. So if
No,
Carolina wins, you're all wearing Carolina T-shirts.
All
To my meal. if
Well,
that's it.
we will get you guys back by the end of this tournament, so we can talk about this again.
Let me
Okay?
get, Ray, can I just give my one upset, or do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
ask that?
Go ahead. Give me your upset.
Okay.
Sleeper
So,
time.
in the this would be a long shot, but as I talked about before, the 15 seed has beat a 2 seed 7 times.
Here it
Right.
comes.
So a lot of college basketball is on the coach
Right.
because the players are changing all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to make everybody aware. In the Midwest, Jacksonville State plays Louisville.
Yeah.
Okay. If you do some research on Jacksonville State's coach, he won the national championship with Kentucky Wesleyan
Yeah.
when he coached there, and he also took the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers twice to the NCAA tournament.
Bill Belichick.
He had a
college.
he had a couple kids that were disqualified, were ruled ineligible this year, and he was fired from his job, and he showed up in Jacksonville State, who have never made the tournament before. Last year they were 8-23.
Well,
They were terrible. It was a mess. But because of his recruiting and because of the belief he put in his players, they've had a fantastic year. And just some reading I've been doing, and just hearing this coach. The coach's name, his name's Ray Harper.
okay.
Just he's built his whole career on knowing how to develop kids
Okay.
and getting ready for the tournament. So watch out for the 15 seed Jacksonville
Nice.
State to upset Louisville.
All right. So there's yours. We got Jacksonville. Real quick, what do you got over here, Dave, for yours?
I got tons. I got Rhode Island in the Elite Eight, which is an 11 seed, which is big. I got Middle Tennessee State winning in the first round against Minnesota, against your guys. But I got Florida Gulf Coast
Yeah,
as a
Against
14
Florida State.
against Florida State and beating Maryland because I hate
Wow.
Maryland. I do not Maryland. Maryland won all their they won their road game records huge. Maryland. They did it all against the terrible Big Ten teams. They never beat a good team on the road all year. And Florida Gulf Coast, Dunk City, they went to the Sweet 16 3 years ago.
or
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then their coach went to USC, and now they're back again. But also in the East region too, I've got UNC Wilmington meeting East Tennessee State University in the second round,
Wow.
and that's beating Virginia and Florida.
I've got UNC Wilmington winning as well.
All right. So his big pick is Jacksonville.
I gotta go one.
One
Okay.
big pick. What do you got?
And mine's big like that.
That is big. Then you know what? I'm gonna go bigger then.
Okay.
I'll go.
Not a 16 over a 1.
No, I'm not gonna go bigger.
Oh.
Pardon me. I'll go one off the board that probably nobody else is gonna pick, or very few people. I'm gonna go Vermont over Purdue.
Yeah,
All right.
I got Vermont as well.
Do
All
you?
right.
Nice.
Okay,
There
that's
you
my
go.
one then. Vermont over
That's
Purdue.
great.
So we're gonna go by your picks.
Yeah.
You're gonna get bonus points for Jacksonville and Vermont. All
Five-
right. Write that down in the back, boys.
Give
Write
us
that
5.
down.
If either one of those happens, we should get 5 points. Those are
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
upsets.
All right. Sounds great. That's our NCAA bracket challenge.